Hello everyone, welcome to Learn English with Seema Wahi. In today's session, we are going to study what is direct speech and indirect speech. How to change direct speech into indirect speech. Let's first understand what is direct speech. It is also called direct narration. When we produce the exact words of the speaker, it is called direct speech. And when we are expressing in the narrated form, the exact words are not said as it is, but in the narration form, it is called indirect speech or indirect narration. Now, how to change direct into indirect? There are certain steps and rules to follow. Let's begin. Now, if the sentence given is, Rohit said, there is a comma after that, and I am unwell are the exact words of Rohit, which are put within inverted commas. The full stop also comes within inverted commas. Rohit is the subject. Said is the reporting verb. I am unwell, the exact words, is called reported speech. Changing it to indirect speech, Rohit said, we add the conjunction that. I pronoun changes to he and changes to was, unwell. Now, how did I change to he and to was? There are rules further to understand. Let's begin. The first rule is, if your reporting verb is in present tense or future tense, then the verb inside the reported speech remains the same. No change takes place. For instance, he says some of the goods are of poor quality. The sentence in indirect will be, he says that some of the goods are of poor quality. Why? Because the reporting verb is in simple present tense. Another example, your father will say life was very hard during the war. Now here will say is in simple future. So in indirect form, your father will say that life was very hard during the war will remain the same. Next rule, if your reporting verb is in past tense, said, so the verbs inside the reported speech will also change. This is the chart which explains how the verbs will change. You can take a screenshot of this. Now, if the verb is in first form, it changes into second form. If the verb is in second form, that is simple past, it further changes into past perfect, that is had plus V3. If it is did, it also changes to had plus V3, and then as it is, it keeps on going on. Now, similarly, modals can, may, will, shall, they also change accordingly. Will, shall changes to would, should only in cases of permission. Can, may changes to could, and must changes to had to. Let's take an example. He said, Mohit slept in the afternoon. In indirect speech, it will become, he said that Mohit slept changes to had slept in the afternoon. She said it was very hot in the morning. She said that was changes to had been very hot in the morning. Next, if inside the reported speech the verb or the sentence, the verb remains the same. Why? If the sentence is a universal truth, scientific fact, mathematical fact, geographical fact or habitual fact, then the sentence remains the same. No change takes place. The teacher said, the earth revolves round the sun. The sentence remains the same. The teacher explained that the earth revolves round the sun, being a universal truth. Let's take another example. My father said to me when I was small, zero was introduced by Indians. My father, now said to changes to told me when I was small that zero was remains the same, introduced by Indians because the sentence is a mathematical fact. If a state of affairs is being talked about which still exists, that means it has not been fulfilled, the sentence again remains the same. He said, Urvashi wants to win or become rich by winning a lottery. Now that means she has not won a lottery yet and still is aiming to be rich. So when we change it into indirect, he said that Urvashi wants to become rich by winning a lottery. Coming down to the next step is how to change personal pronouns in indirect speech. Now there are three kinds of pronouns: first person, second person and third person. First person is the person speaking, that is I and we. Second person is the person spoken to, that is you. You can be singular, you can be plural. And third person is person spoken about, he, she, it and they. Now how to change these when we are changing a sentence from direct into indirect? Now when in a sentence there are two subjects, the one who is speaking and the other with whom the conversation is taking place, then how do we change the pronouns? Now the sentence is, Pooja said to Tej, I have done my work. Pooja is subject 1 and Tej is subject 2. Inside the reported speech, if the pronoun is in first person, it will change according to subject 1, which is before the reporting verb, that is Pooja. So when we change it into indirect, Pooja, first step is said to will change to told. Tej, conjunction that will be added. Now I is Pooja here, so it changes to she. Have a verb will change to had, done. My again will be according to Pooja, her verb. Let's understand how to change pronouns of the second person. There are two subjects in a sentence. So one is before the reporting verb and the other is after the reporting verb. So the pronouns of the second person, that is you, changes according to subject 2, which is after the reporting verb. Let's take an example. The doctor said to him, you must eat your medicines on time. The doctor said to changes to told him that. Now you here refers to him, so it will change to he. Must, as we studied earlier, the verb changes to had to. Eat, your again is referring to him, so his medicines on time. Coming down to the third rule of pronouns, that is how to change third person pronouns, which are he, she, it, they. They remain the same when you change the sentence from direct to indirect. You said to me, they have not done their work. Now you said to again will change to told, me, that. They remains the same. Have not will change to had not done their work. So the third person pronoun remains the same. So the easy way to remember is first person pronouns change according to first subject, second person pronoun change according to second subject. Let's go to the next part, how to change words which denote time and place. This and these changes to that and those, here to there, now to them, and so on. You can take a screenshot of this chart. How to change assertive sentences. So the conversion of assertive sentences. Now, first thing we studied that conjunction that is added. Now, the reporting verb we studied that it said to changes to told. But there are other ways also to change reporting verbs. If the sentence is giving an assurance, we can write assured in place of said. If it is complaining, we can say complained. Or if it's an inquiry, we can say inquired. Someone who's making a promise, we can say promised or objected. So there are lots of options which you can use according to the sentence which is spoken. Let's take an example. I said to the shopkeeper, the eggs you gave me yesterday turned out to be rotten. It is very clear that the person is complaining to the shopkeeper. So I said to, we can change it to complained to the shopkeeper that the eggs you gave will change to he had given. Gave is second form, which has changed to had given, the third form. Me yesterday changes to the previous day. Had turned will change to had turned out to be rotten. Next is conversion of interrogative sentences, that is asking questions. Now, in place of again reporting verb which is said, we can change to inquired, demand, wondered, interrogated, so many of them. Now, when we write a sentence, we put a question mark. But since we are changing it to indirect speech, the interrogative sentence changes into an assertive sentence, which means we will remove the question mark and put a full stop. Now, when we write a sentence, a question, interrogative sentence, we start with a WH word followed by helping verb, subject, main verb and object. Changing it to indirect speech, we have to make a sentence. WH word will remain the same. Helping verb and subject will swap their positions. Then comes main verb, object and a full stop. No conjunction is used, that is that, when the question is beginning with these WH words. Who, whose, whom, what, which, when, why, where and how. Tenses and pronouns will change as we have studied so far. Another important rule is when a question is asked and the person is expecting a yes or no as an answer. Like for example, can I do this? So the other person will say yes you can or no you can't. In such sentences, we use the conjunction if or whether. Let's take some examples. The poor man said to the girl, what harm have I done to you? Now the poor man is asking the girl. Now there is no conjunction because the question is starting with WH word what. Harm, have will change to had. But now I is coming before had because helping verb and subject have swapped their positions. To and you is referring to the girl. So again, second person pronoun according to the second subject. And it becomes her. Another example, the girl said, can I wear this sari, mother? So she's expecting an answer yes or no. Changing into indirect speech, it will become the girl asked. This mother word will come here because she's asking her mother. If or whether, she. Can changes to could, wear. This sari will change to that sari. Third example, she said to me, shall I return these books by next week? So she said, she's asking, she asked me if. Why? Because either I will say yes or I will say no. So if I changes to she, shall changes to should, they have swapped their positions. Return, these changes to those books by next week changes to the following week. I hope it's clear so far. Next topic is conversion of imperative sentences, which are requests, order, command. Now again, reporting verbs will change according to the command given, order given, or maybe requesting someone. So when it is a command, we can use words like command, ordered, charged. We're talking about request, requested. If it is a stronger request, we can say begged, pleaded, or even when you're actually going down on your knees and requesting someone, strongly beseeched. And if I, being an expert in the industry, I say, okay, you must do this. So what I'm doing, I'm giving an advice. So advised, you are younger to me, or maybe in status or age, you're telling me something that, this can be done. I can say suggested. So these are the verbs which you can use in place of said. Another important point, when you're changing direct into indirect, in the reported speech, the verb given will change to infinitive, that is to plus verb in first form. Now, if it is a negative sentence, then not will come before the infinitive. And tenses, pronouns, and words denoting nearness will also change according to the rules stated earlier. Now let's take some examples to understand further. The captain said to the crew, follow my orders. Now the captain. So the captain starts with the letter C. Commanded starts with the letter C. Easy way to remember. Commanded the crew. Follow is the verb, changes to infinitive. To follow, my will change to his orders. The thief said to the judge. Now he is actually pleading hard that he should be pardoned. So we can always write besieged the judge. Pardon will change to pardon, me will become him. The officer said to the soldiers, fire. So the officer starts with the letter O, ordered starts with O. The soldiers, fire will change to fire. Some more things to understand. Imperatives are also which have let in them. So they are either to make suggestions, proposals, or for that matter also for asking permissions. So again, reporting verbs can change accordingly. He said to his family, let us go on a holiday. Now from this sentence, it's quite clear that he's suggesting his family that how about going on a holiday? So he said to will change to suggested. To his family, let will merge in suggested along with said to, and go will become to go on a holiday. Talking about permission, the boy said to the teacher, let me take the test. So he's kind of urging the teacher, requesting her. So said to changes to urged, requested the teacher, let will become to let. Me is the boy here, so him take the test. Last topic, coming down to almost towards the end, conversion of optative and exclamatory sentences. Now, optative sentences are when we are expressing a prayer, we are wishing someone something, or cursing also when you're very angry with someone. Exclamatory sentences are when we are expressing sudden or strong feelings, like hurrah, oh my God, oh, how this has happened. These are all sudden and strong expressions, and such expressions are called exclamatory expressions. After these expressions or phrases, we put an exclamation mark while writing. So when we are changing them into indirect, the reporting verb again said can be changed to prayed, wished, longed for, or desired. Similarly here in exclamatory sentences, we can say exclaimed with sorrow, joy, exclaimed with fear, exclaimed with anger, exclaimed with sadness, and so on. The exclamatory or optative sentences change into assertive sentences, which means the interjections and the exclamatory marks in the sentence are omitted. Words like hurrah, wow, alas, oh my god. These are all interjections. They get removed or omitted, and in place of them, we use expressions like exclaim with joy. So the sentence, hurrah, I have talked again, he said. Now, hurrah is the interjection and said are merged and become he exclaimed. This is of course joy. So exclaimed with joy. The exclamation mark gets omitted. That, conjunction that is added here. I will change to he. Have changes to had. Talked again. I said to him, congratulations. So how do we change that? I congratulated. So said to and congratulations becomes one verb. Congratulated him. She said to her, another example, she said to her, good morning, how do you do? So she said to, because of course it is wishing good morning, her friend good morning, and now because this is a question, so we add asked her how do you do will become she was. So the verb has gone after the subject because subject and helping verb have swapped their position. Conversion of dialogues. Now, when two people are talking, dialogue of one and dialogue of other, how do we change such sentences into indirect? Let's understand that. Sonali and Aditya are having a conversation here. Sonali is asking about Parul, asking Aditya about Parul and her details, and Aditya is responding to that. Let's understand. Sonali, where's Parul? Aditya, she has gone for her dancing class. Sonali, does she go for lessons every day? Aditya, yes, she goes every day. Now Sonali asked Aditya, where? This apostrophe S is. Parul, it will change to was. Aditya informed now Sonali or replied or told Sonali or her that she has gone will change to had gone for her dancing class. Sonali wanted to know whether, because when she says does she go for lessons every day, Aditya has replied yes. So we write here whether she go will change to went for her lessons every day. Aditya now has replied yes. That means he has confirmed or he has affirmed. So when we write that in place of said, yes will change to affirmed that she went, goes changes to went every day. So this is how we convert dialogues from direct into indirect speech. So they are actually a summary of all the rules that we studied in this session from beginning till end. Hope you liked the session. See you in the next video.